This is it. The brass badger. Thanks everyone, I appreciate it. Enjoy supper and a couple of drinks tonight, courtesy of Westmere. Yes, I suppose it is. But they've got good music. And great food. You'll see. Come on. What's that? Oh. You can do as you like, I don't care. I was going to retire as soon as possible, but you don't have to. Sure. Fine. Let's go over here. No, you're right. It's not the worst thing for the Queendom to see us spending time together. However awkward that might be. So, how has your journey been so far? Same. I'm always a bit frayed by this point. The Badger has been a comforting place to stop when I feel I'm about to lose my mind. Oh, good. The drinks are here. Thanks. To clear skies and clean blades, yes? Cheers. It's good. What do you think? Right? We're making good time. We should be back home to Hearthforge Keep by early afternoon tomorrow. Bonebinder again. I'm not getting out of this, am I? Well, I can think of 1,000 things I'd rather do, but not out here in this hamlet. Our food's not ready yet, and while I'm tired, I'm not that tired. So, very well. Settle in. It was about 4 years ago. The undead were still just a frightening rumour on the wind. As you know, we were still at war with your nation, the Hulberg Expanse, and had been for almost 20 years. It had gotten nasty. Border skirmishes, murdered scouts. I don't know how involved you were on your side, but I was extremely involved. Command came easily to me. I learned through experience. I was stirred by it. The combat, the strategy. Only 4 years ago. And it feels like I was a completely different person. Different how? Hopeful? Naive, maybe? Seems like I had a lot more energy than I do now. And I was engaged. No, to perform as my mother's court jester. Of course, to be married. Sorry, I'm forgetting. You've not spent much time here in Westmere. I shouldn't make the mistake of thinking everyone's familiar with this story. And to be fair, it wasn't even that widely known. My mother didn't approve of the match, to be honest. Emma wasn't a royal. She was noble, but not a royal. Yes, you may as well know, since you're going to find out anyway. I was with a woman before this. I like men and women. Yes. Well, not to expose myself too much, but a pair of thick, beefy quads on a man? Yes, please. The gentle curves of a woman's stomach? Absolutely. Scratchy stubble? I'm there. Soft lips and languid eyes? Undone. I'm quite open that way. I believe there can be a lot to love about every person we meet. Unlimited potential. It's just, if it's a consort or a concubine, our hearts need to be compatible. You know? You seem surprised. Why? No, it doesn't really work that way. I don't like men 50% and women 50%. It's not 70-30 or 60-40. And for me, anyway, it doesn't change. It's 100% and 100%. Does that make sense? I've known since I was young. I've always accepted it as part of who I am. I'm not sure what it's like in your culture. In Westmere, it's rare, but not looked down on. We're born that way, aren't we? What's to be ashamed of? Look, we can continue to talk about my sexuality, or we can get on with this. Which would you prefer? Thank goodness. Yes, Emma. Her full name was Emmeline Ward. She was the daughter of a Westmerian courtier. She'd risen to prominence at a social gathering in the capital where she sang like a nightingale. I was fascinated with her. Introduced myself. Sent her flowers the very next morning. No. In the past, I can't say I was hesitant at all. I'd had crushes before, but this was my first real... It's just different. You're first. Oh, I was a fool for her. Our courtship progressed quickly. Despite my mother's misgivings, she was forced to watch it all unfold. She couldn't find a good enough reason to keep us apart. No, that wasn't it, believe it or not. There's lots of things to be done with magic when it comes to us and the royal line getting with child. And Westmerians accept adoption as sacred if a ruler is truly barren. My mother was adopted, after all. No, I think it was more that securing Emma didn't do anything for Westmere. It didn't enlarge our territories or significantly enrich us. Truth be told, it wasn't an advantageous match at all, except that it made me outrageously happy. I can read your thoughts, Your Highness. What happened? What made it all fall apart? Well, first, order me another beer. This isn't as easy as it looks. Thanks. Emma, who was a devout worshipper of Banra, was to travel to the temple in Austin to receive blessings from the priests and priestesses there before we wed. A safe enough nation, not involved in the conflict, though it does border parts of the expanse. I was worried, of course. Told her I didn't like it, not during the war. She argued that it was a deeply held tradition, very important to her, and that it was precisely because of said war that these holy men and women weren't able to come to her to perform these rites. Truth is, she could ask me for anything, and I'd cave and give it to her. I'd already given her a matchless 22-carat sapphire engagement ring, almost the exact hue of her beautiful eyes. So, I wished her well, kissed her, and waited for her return when we could finally marry. What I didn't know was that the undead were quietly massing and preparing to begin their assault on the Gatolit Belt. In the early days, the Fell March cooperated with Hulburg, if you'll remember. They tried to use you to take us out. Emma was in the wrong place at the wrong time. There happened to be Expanse troops stationed near the border of Hulburg and Austin, and her retinue was stopped and questioned. Commander Elias Halshon of the Hulburg Expanse Army and his entire 18th Regiment captured her, and everyone travelling with her. I heard about it all days later, when one of our scouts brought back word. But it was worse than that. Much worse. Not that my Emma in the midst of an enemy encampment didn't terrify me. But there was now a new foreign enemy on the map. The Fell March. Helmed by Corveth Bonebinder. She intended to conquer as much of the belt as possible, be it Hulburg, Austin, Westmere, anything she could get her claws on. At that moment, though, she had an uneasy truce with Hulburg. Because they gave her Emma. A token that Hulburg thought would keep them safe. Let's trade them the betrothed of the Westmerian princess. It'll let them know exactly where our loyalties lie and further destabilize Westmere. You are correct. It was horrible. Emma was with that monster for 4 weeks. 4 weeks. They ransomed her. She was allowed to send me letters. Pathetic, broken things that haunted me. And there was her handwriting. I'd know it anywhere. I lost it. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. Couldn't think about anything but bringing her home. Some of our troops rode out to rescue her. They were all slaughtered. Finally, driven half mad, I put together a contingent and rode out myself. Hulburg was waiting for us. The perfect ambush. We had the fire to take them, though, and I'd brought more iron guards than I thought I would need. We went through their troops like fire through dry sweetgrass. When we got close enough to the Gatalit belt, we made camp. Then, during the few hours of uneasy sleep I did manage to get, something odd happened. The Bonebinder came to me in my dreams. She told me everything she had done so far and was planning to do to my Emma. I needed to surrender our lands to the Fell March, or they'd take my fiancé's life. Even if I had, it wouldn't have mattered. That's the Bonebinder's way. Empty promises. Agreements made in bad faith. She tricks you. She tricks you. The next morning, the Fell March came across the belt in the fog to meet us. The witch was there, and there was my sweet Emma, battered, thin, a shell of herself, only about 20 feet away from me. Bonebinder and I parleyed. It was tense. I had guards fan out around us, awaiting my signal. And then I lied for all I was worth, told her I was open to negotiating, that everything has a price. She opened her maw and grinned at me, as though she knew exactly what I was playing at. I gave the signal, and my iron guards cut off the Bonebinder from Emma. Some Fell March took a martial stance, but Corveth only laughed and laughed. This tells me everything I need to know, she said. She raised a bony finger and pointed it at my love, who vanished. One moment there, another gone. An illusion. I ordered the Iron Guards to attack, and they did, taking out a few of the undead. But the Bonebinder opened a portal behind her and vanished through it. Behind her, she tossed. I can't say it. No. Just a couple of items that made it clear. Emma was already dead. Had been for a few days. My ring was not among the articles. I suppose it's possible. She does possess some necromantic powers. But I haven't allowed myself to think about that. I buried what I could, and mourned the woman who would have been my wife. Yes, it's a lot. But you did ask. And now you know. Right, it's been difficult to accept a new engagement with anyone, let alone with the heir of the Hulberg Expanse. For a long time I was unwell. Then I got angry at everyone. The Queen. I mean, she seems to have mastered retaining composure in difficult situations. It's not like she didn't have compassion for what I was going through, but not much was at stake for her. The loss of Emma was an unfortunate accident to her. No land was forfeit. No significant loss of civilian life had occurred. No international incidents beyond what we were already facing. I'd gotten myself into a predicament of my own device, and I'd need to work through it myself. Standard procedure, honestly, for my mother. The Bonebinder has caused enough problems now for both of our countries. It was shrewd of Edith to ally us officially. Taking the Bonebinder out will stop her ability to create more undead. And then all we have to do is grind through her remaining forces. But it's personal too, for me. No, not with Last Light, my sword. Although that's a good question. A local priest of Xyrus gifted me with a ceremonial dagger after the memorial service for Emma. Pure silver. Blessed. Seems that if I can get close enough to the witch to use it on her, it should do the trick. That's my plan. Well, that's my plan for now. Thank you. I know. And I've thought about that, believe me, over and over again. The actions of one commander doesn't represent how you feel, or indeed how anyone else from the Expanse feels. He did what he thought was advantageous at the time. My mother certainly didn't consider it an act of war, or a war crime, even if I did. No. And my Emma wasn't a royal, just caught in the system. Collateral damage. No, I'm not religious myself. More trouble than it's worth, I think. Yes. To trauma. We should try to sleep. Just a few hours of travel tomorrow. Maybe if you feel like riding, you can tell me a little about your history. You know, if you want. And then, not long until we marry. We can talk about that later. We have the rest of our lives, after all. Good night. See you tomorrow.